Because this isn't just some casual clapback. Alicia Keys went all the way off. She didn't just whisper in the corner, she threw down a bomb in public, accusing Lala Anthony of secretly being engaged to her husband, Swizz Beatz. Yes, you heard me right. This wasn't tea spilled over brunch or quiet shade at some private dinner party. No, Alicia made sure the world heard it. She took what had been a hushed little rumor and turned it into a full-blown scandal that lit up every corner of the internet. But here's the part that has everybody gagging. The deeper you dig, the less this looks like a random outburst, and the more it feels like a carefully unfolding drama years in the making. So, was Lala Anthony really gearing up to live a double life? Or is someone out here pulling strings and stirring chaos on purpose? Because the receipts are piling up. Old photos, cryptic captions, insider whispers. And trust me, when you put the pieces together, the puzzle doesn't look clean. It looks messy, messy, messy. So here's how it went down. Word is, Alicia went public with these accusations, and suddenly every eye wasn't just on her marriage. It was
what happens when love, loyalty, and long-buried rumors all collide in the same circle? Did Alicia Keys really catch her husband, Swizz Beatz, with Lala Anthony? Or is this just another internet-fueled storm? Because here's the thing. Sometimes it's not even about what's true. It's about what people want to believe. And right now, the internet is eating this story alive. But before we dive into this rumor that's shaking Hollywood, let me ask you a quick favor. If you love hearing the real breakdowns behind these stories, not just the headlines, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think this rumor is real, or is it just another messy blog lie? Alright, let's get into it.
This is how Alicia Keys got Swizz Beatz, and the same way she might lose him. The internet is on fire with claims of a leaked tape involving Swizz and Alicia's close friend, Lala Anthony. Fans remember, Alicia's romance with Swizz began while he was still married to Mashonda. Now, years later, rumors say the cycle is repeating, only with the roles reversed. Insiders allege this isn't new. 3 years of secrecy, possibly overlapping with Lala's marriage to Carmelo Anthony. 2 marriages, 1 alleged affair, and a full circle betrayal that has social media calling it karma.
On the surface, Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz look like the kind of couple people dream about. They married in 2010, and from that point on, their public image was carefully polished, smiling together on red carpets, supporting each other's careers, raising their 2 children, and projecting this vibe of unity and success. They weren't just a couple, they were a brand. Alicia, the soulful queen with timeless hits, and Swizz, the larger-than-life producer with connections everywhere. Together, they represented that perfect blend of music, power, and influence. Meanwhile, in that same year, Lala Anthony married NBA star Carmelo Anthony. At first, their story looked like another fairy tale. The basketball player and the rising entertainment personality, building a family under the bright lights of fame. But as the years went on, cracks started to show. Carmelo's cheating scandals began surfacing, including rumors of fathering a child outside the marriage. And those weren't just whispers. While Alicia's marriage to Swizz looked stable on the outside, the rumors that shadowed their beginnings never completely went away. People always remembered how their love story started, with Swizz's ex-wife Mashonda accusing Alicia of being a homewrecker in a very public letter back in 2000. Even though years have passed, the internet has a long memory. So now, when Alicia's name and Lala's name get pulled into the same sentence as Swizz, people connect the dots quickly. Maybe too quickly. To some, it feels like history repeating itself. But let's pause here and ask the real question. Why is it that the moment a woman leaves a messy marriage, the public automatically assumes her next chapter must involve another man? Why can't her story just be about her glow-up, her work, and her independence?
Since Swizz left his family by adultery and Alicia was a homewrecker, I think most people find it disgusting that they appear to have this perfect life attitude and relationship.
You never hear nothing bad about Alicia Keys.
Yeah, you do.
What do you
Y'all just don't hear nothing about
okay. I thought her record was pretty clean.
No. Not around with Swizz and not breaking up happy homes. Like, people are forgetting when she moved into Swizz and them's house to work on the music with him, he was still married to his wife, living in that same.
Now, every big scandal starts with a whisper. And for Swizz Beatz, those whispers go way back. Around 2013, long before this Lala situation ever popped up, people in industry circles were already side-eyeing him. Rumors floated around about him being too friendly at certain parties, moving in ways that didn't quite match the polished family man image we saw on red carpets with Alicia. Nothing ever stuck. No leaked photos, no texts, no confirmed reports. But here's the thing about Hollywood. Rumors don't need proof to survive. Once the streets start talking, that reputation follows you. And when a man already has a history of messy headlines, people don't forget. Fast forward a few years to 2017 and 2018. That's when paparazzi started snapping pictures of Swizz and Lala at some of the same events. We're talking Fashion Week shows, art exhibitions, and those exclusive group dinners where the cameras always seem to catch someone mid-laugh. On the surface, everything looked innocent. These were public events, and there were always plenty of people around. But the internet doesn't care about context. One picture of Lala leaning in to grab a drink suddenly became a dissertation on body language. A moment of laughter in a group setting turned into "look how close they are." You can tell something's going on. And once those images hit the blogs, it didn't matter that Alicia was standing right there in some of those same photos. People zoomed in, cropped, and reshaped the story until it fit what they wanted to see. And let's be honest, in today's social media world, does anyone even want the truth? Or do people just want the juiciest version of the story? So here's a question for you. Do you think photos without context should be fair game for speculation? Or do you see that as reckless gossip that can ruin reputations? Because for Swizz and Lala, those whispers turned into shadows that followed them for years. Shadows that are now feeding directly into this 2025 rumor storm.
They say what goes around comes around. And Alicia Keys might be living proof. Because according to sources, a private tape just leaked, allegedly showing Swizz Beatz getting way too close to someone who wasn't his wife. And the real jaw-dropper? That woman is none other than Lala Anthony, someone Alicia once called a close friend.
By 2021, the whispers about Swizz and Lala had cooled down a bit until one person lit the match that set the blogs on fire. That person was none other than radio host Miss Jones, a woman with a long reputation for spilling unfiltered tea on air. If you know Miss Jones, you know she doesn't mince words, and she doesn't drop names unless she feels she's sitting on something heavy. Live on the radio. She claimed she had inside information straight from someone close to Swizz's own camp. According to her, this source told her flat out, Swizz was creeping with Lala Anthony. And she said it with so much confidence that the internet didn't even wait for proof. The moment her words hit the airwaves, social media exploded. Blogs copied the clip, headlines popped up everywhere, and comment sections turned into war zones. On one side, people said, of course it's true. Swizz has always been messy. On the other side, fans of Alicia Keys rushed in to defend her marriage, calling it nothing but gossip. Now here's where it gets interesting. Swizz didn't stay completely silent. He jumped online and brushed the rumors off, acting like everyone was reaching. But he never went into detail. He never gave a hard denial with receipts. Just that slick, y'all tripping kind of attitude. Lala, meanwhile, played the game in a totally different way. She ignored it completely. No tweets, no interviews, no cryptic Instagram captions. She went radio silent, as if the rumor didn't even exist. And then there was Alicia Keys. She didn't say a word, didn't address it, didn't acknowledge it, nothing. And that silence, that's what really got people talking. Because let's be real, sometimes silence can be louder than a denial. Fans started asking, if it wasn't true, why wouldn't Alicia defend her man? Why wouldn't she shut it down? So let me throw that question to you. If your partner was accused of cheating, would you stay silent like Alicia, or would you come out swinging with proof to clear their name? That moment in 2021 planted a seed. Even though the story eventually faded, the doubt never really went away. And that's the thing about gossip. Once the seed is planted, all it takes is time for it to grow again. And now, in 2025, that seed is sprouting into a full-blown forest fire.
Imagine finding out your best friend wasn't just texting your spouse, but secretly in love with them for years. That's the scandal shaking Alicia Keys, Swizz Beatz, and Lala Anthony. And it might be 2025's biggest betrayal. Rumors of Swizz and Lala have been floating for years, but now, and here's the twist, fans say Alicia's marriage started the same way when Swizz was still married to his ex. Sources claim this wasn't a one-time fling. It's been going on for 3 years, possibly overlapping with Lala's marriage to Carmelo Anthony. 2 marriages, 1 affair, no innocent.
Now here we are, in 2025, and just when people thought the whispers had died down, the rumor explodes again. Out of nowhere, blogs start running, with headlines saying Alicia Keys caught Swizz Beatz and Lala Anthony together. No photos, no text messages, no voice notes, just whispers that caught enough traction to become trending topics overnight. And in today's world, that's all it takes. See, this is how the internet works. Once a story fits the pattern, people don't even need receipts. They just connect the dots. Swizz has a messy past? Check. Lala is single and thriving? Check. Alicia stays quiet? Check. Boom. Instant scandal. The timing makes it even juicier. Lala is fully divorced, out here glowing on red carpets and carving her own lane in Hollywood. Swizz is still flashy, still out at big events, still the guy whose image screams temptation. And Alicia, she's still maintaining her grace, staying quiet, and not feeding the fire. But here's where it gets wild. Fans are split down the middle. Some are convinced this is finally the smoking gun, the proof that Swizz hasn't changed. Others swear it's just recycled drama, a rumor with no legs, designed to drag 3 big names into a messy love triangle narrative. And honestly, that's all gossip really needs. It doesn't have to be true, it just has to sound true. Think about it. If this rumor had popped up involving Swizz and some random woman outside of the industry, it might not have gone anywhere. But the fact that it's Lala, someone in the same social circle, someone who has her own history of relationship drama, that's what makes the story go viral. So let me ask you, do you think people believe this rumor because of actual evidence, or do they believe it just because it feels believable? Because that's the dangerous thing about public opinion. Once a narrative takes off, it doesn't matter whether there's fire behind the smoke. People have already decided what they want the story to be. Now let's really talk about Lala Anthony. Because out of everyone in this storyline, she might be the easiest target for messy rumors. And the truth is, it's not because of anything she's done, but because of the way the public sees her. First off, Lala is beautiful and visible. From her MTV VJ days back in the early 2000s, to her acting career in Power and her red carpet appearances, she's been in the spotlight for decades. She's never been someone who hides away from the cameras, and in Hollywood, when you're always seen, you're always a suspect. Second, her marriage to Carmelo Anthony was one of the most high-profile NBA relationships of the last decade, and it was messy. Multiple cheating scandals, alleged side babies, tabloid headlines. By the time she filed for divorce in 2021, the public had already attached a permanent label to her, the long-suffering wife. And once a label like that sticks, people expect your next move to be some kind of revenge, even if it's not true. That's why every time her name comes up, people instantly assume, oh, she must be messing with so-and-so to get back at Melo. Even if she's just standing in the same room as another man, the blogs twist it into a story. And let's not forget, Lala isn't just famous for being Carmelo's ex. She's been on her grind. She's an actress, a producer, a businesswoman, and an author. She's built a brand that goes way beyond basketball. But here's the sad part. Every success she has, people still find a way to tie it back to a man's name. Either she's Melo's ex, or she's rumored to be Swizz's fling. Now, here's the kicker. Lala's glow-up after her divorce actually feeds the narrative. She's single, she looks incredible, she's booking gigs, and she's clearly thriving. And instead of celebrating that, the internet spins it into, oh, she must be leveling up by dating another powerful man. It's like she can't win. If she stays quiet and focused, people say she's plotting. If she enjoys herself and lives her life, people call her messy. And let's be real, there's a double standard here. How many times have we seen men like Future, Carmelo, or even Tristan Thompson move from scandal to scandal and still get praised as toxic kings? But when a woman like Lala even stands near a married man, she's instantly labeled a homewrecker. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Lala is being unfairly dragged just because of her beauty and visibility? Or do you think she knowingly puts herself in situations that fuel these rumors? Because whether she's guilty of anything or not, the reality is this: every time her name trends, it's rarely for her work, it's for her connections. And that's why Lala stays at the center of gossip storms like this one.
Say Lala and Swizz's little connection kicked off around 2019, right when her marriage to Carmelo Anthony was crumbling in public. Everyone remembers Carmelo's cheating scandals, multiple affairs, rumored outside kids. Lala had stood by him through all of that. By the time she filed for divorce, people thought it was just the final straw after years of humiliation. But now, insiders are whispering there was more going on, that in some of her lowest moments, Lala was allegedly leaning on Alicia's own husband for comfort. Imagine that. She's pouring her heart out to Alicia about Carmelo's latest cheating mess, while secretly doing the exact same thing with Swizz.
Now let's flip the spotlight over to Swizz Beatz, because, if we're being honest, his reputation is a big reason why these rumors keep sticking. From the very beginning, Swizz's relationship with Alicia Keys was controversial. Back in 2009, his ex-wife Mashonda wrote that infamous open letter accusing Alicia of breaking up her marriage. She put it all out there: the timeline, the heartbreak, the betrayal. And even though Alicia and Swizz eventually moved forward and built a family, that scandal never really disappeared from people's minds. For a lot of fans, their love story started with drama, and once a relationship starts with controversy, it's hard to shake that narrative. Then there's Swizz himself. His public image has always been flashy, larger than life, almost magnetic. He's a producer, an art collector, a showman. He throws massive parties, drives luxury cars, and surrounds himself with beautiful people. And while that lifestyle is exciting, it also carries a certain ladies' man energy that feeds into the rumors. On top of that, Swizz has had his share of messy headlines outside of Alicia. Public disputes over child support with his exes, whispers about flings even after he married Alicia, and a reputation for being the kind of man who always has temptation in the room. None of these stories ever had solid proof. But when enough rumors stack up, people don't even need evidence anymore. The reputation becomes its own kind of truth. And here's the kicker. In gossip culture, once someone has a history, every new rumor feels believable by default. When people hear Swizz was caught with Lala, they don't stop and ask, where's the proof? They just say, well, that sounds like something he'd do. That's the danger of reputation. Even if you're innocent, your past can make you guilty in the court of public opinion. And let's not forget, Swizz isn't just any man. He's married to Alicia Keys, one of the most respected, soulful artists in the world. So every time a cheating rumor pops up, it doesn't just hit him, it hits her too. And in a twisted way, that makes the story even juicier for the blogs. So here's my question to you. Do you think Swizz's past mistakes justify the way people believe every new rumor about him? Or do you think it's unfair to drag him forever over things that were never even proven? Because whether it's fair or not, Swizz's name carries a history, And that history makes him the perfect candidate for scandal, even when there's no evidence. And now, let's talk about Alicia Keys, because her response, or really her lack of response, is one of the biggest factors keeping this rumor alive. From day one, Alicia has always carried herself with a certain grace. Her brand has never been about messy clapbacks or internet drama. Think back to when Mashonda wrote that public letter accusing her of breaking up a marriage. Alicia didn't jump online to defend herself. She didn't argue on radio interviews. She didn't shade anyone on Instagram. She stayed quiet. She smiled through it, poured herself into her music, and doubled down on being seen as soulful, classy, and untouchable. And honestly, that strategy worked. Over time, the homewrecker headlines faded away, and people started remembering Alicia as the barefoot goddess at the piano instead of the woman accused of wrecking a home. Her silence preserved her image when clapping back probably would have made things worse. Fast forward to now. With the new wave of rumors about Swizz and Lala, Alicia is once again staying silent. No tweets, no public denials, no dramatic sit-down interviews. Just silence. But here's the problem. Silence cuts both ways. Some fans admire it. They see her as strong, as someone who refuses to dignify the gossip with a response. They say that's how you win, by ignoring the noise. But others see her silence differently. They ask, why isn't she defending her marriage? Why isn't she speaking up? Is it because the rumor might actually be true? That's the double-edged sword Alicia has to live with. Silence protects her peace, but it also leaves a blank space for people to fill in their own answers. And the internet, it loves filling in blanks. And let's be honest, Alicia's silence doesn't just shape her image, it also fuels the gossip cycle. Every day she stays quiet, the blogs keep spinning the story. Some paint her as a strong woman who won't entertain nonsense. Others paint her as the wife who's quietly suffering while her husband does his thing. So here's the question I'll throw to you. If you were in Alicia's shoes, would you stay silent to protect your image, or would you speak out to shut down the rumors once and for all? Because in the world of celebrity gossip, silence can either make you look like the strongest person in the room or the most vulnerable. And right now, Alicia Keys is walking that fine line. Now let's break down the ugly truth about this whole situation. The double standards in how men and women are treated when scandals hit. Look at the narrative around Swizz Beatz. Every time his name pops up in a cheating rumor, people laugh it off. Well, you know how Swizz is. It becomes a running joke, another chapter in his so-called ladies' man reputation. His career, untouched. His deals, still moving. His image, flashy as ever. But flip it over to Lala Anthony, and the story shifts completely. The moment her name gets tied to a man, even without proof, she's instantly labeled messy, thirsty, a homewrecker who can't keep a man. Never mind her career achievements. Never mind her businesses or acting roles. Suddenly, the conversation is reduced. Who is she sleeping with? And it's not just Lala. This is the pattern across the board. Remember when Beyoncé stayed with Jay-Z after the Lemonade revelations? Instead of questioning Jay's behavior, a lot of people criticized Beyoncé, saying she must not value herself. When Jennifer Lopez moved on from one relationship to another, she was branded as desperate, while men like Future can have a baby with every zodiac sign and still get celebrated as the king of toxic love. See the problem? Men bounce back. Women get boxed in. Men are playboys. Women are messy. And let's not forget the loyalty trap. Lala stood by Carmelo Anthony through years of public embarrassment, multiple cheating scandals, and even those alleged outside children. She forgave. She tried to hold her marriage together. She played the role of the supportive wife. But the second she was seen enjoying her life post-divorce, people flipped the script and called her vindictive. So here's the question for you. Why is it that when men cheat, people shrug and move on? But when women are even rumored to cheat, it becomes their whole identity. Because right now, the public isn't just questioning Swizz's behavior, They're defining Lala's entire image around the possibility of being linked to him. And that's the heart of the double standard. Men can survive scandals, but women often have to fight their way back from them. Here's the thing about this whole Alicia Swizz Lala storyline. Even if every single person involved came out tomorrow, sat on camera and said, "This is a lie. We're family friends. Nothing ever happened," the internet wouldn't buy it. Why? Because this rumor has all the ingredients of a Hollywood soap opera. You've got power couples, past scandals, glow-ups, messy timing, and just enough history to make it believable. It's like the perfect recipe for endless gossip. And the truth is, once the internet decides on a narrative, it doesn't need proof. It just needs pattern recognition. People say Swizz has cheated before, so of course he'd cheat again. Or Lala's single and glowing, so of course she must be leveling up with someone else's man. Even Alicia's silence feeds into the cycle. Some say it's strength, others call it quiet suffering. And here's where it gets deeper. The culture doesn't let these kinds of stories die. Look back at Diddy, Cassie, and Kim Porter. Years later, people are still debating the dynamics of that triangle. Or Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, and Jordan Woods. One mistake turned into years of memes, think pieces, and endless speculation. That's exactly what's happening here. The Alicia Swizz Lala triangle has become its own kind of entertainment. It doesn't even matter if it's true anymore. It's about the thrill of imagining powerful, successful people living messy, dramatic lives. It's escapism for some, entertainment for others, and ammunition for the blogs who thrive on clicks. And let's not ignore the collateral damage. Behind every headline are kids, families, and people who didn't sign up for the mess. Lala and Carmelo's son Kian is out here making a name for himself in basketball. But instead of just being Kian the Hooper, he gets whispers about his dad's cheating and his mom's rumored fling. Alicia and Swizz's children are too young to even understand. But one day they'll Google their parents and see these stories stamped onto the internet forever. That's the part people don't want to admit. Gossip doesn't just live online. It leaves a trail that impacts real families, especially the kids. So where does that leave us? Honestly, in the same place we started. No proof, no receipts, just speculation, drama, and endless headlines that refuse to fade. And maybe that's the real answer. This story isn't about truth. It's about the fact that the internet doesn't want it to end. So let me leave you with this. Do you think this rumor is nothing more than smoke with no fire, or is there a real story buried underneath all the noise?